Fantasy Championship Week 17 starts and sits. Let's go. I love Love versus Minnesota. Jordan Love has 7 passing touchdowns versus the Vikings in his past 2 games. And Minnesota allows the second most passing yards to quarterbacks this season. Detroit allows the 5th most passing yards and the 2nd highest yards per rush to quarterbacks. This is the highest total of the week. Start Purdy on prime time. I hate Herbert this week. In the bitter cold of New England, 1 20-point performance in his past 5. And the Patriots, sneaky good versus the pass. 8th fewest yards allowed. It's raining outside? Yeah, sit Tua. Especially with Cleveland allowing the 2nd fewest completions per game. Waddle and Tyreek Hill are both questionable. Sit them. Madison is a great flex start this week. The Saints allow the most touchdowns per game to the running back position, the 3rd most yards per carry, and the 3rd most fantasy points. Start him. Spears has a perfect matchup versus Jacksonville. They allow the 2nd most receptions and 4th most targets to the running back position. Spears has 100 receiving yards and 11 targets over the past 2 games. I wouldn't trust Mondre this week. Gerard Mayo said he contemplated benching him. Antonio Gibson could be the starter this week for the Patriots, and it's not even a good matchup versus the Chargers. I know Dowdle's been pretty good, but he's facing the Eagles without CeeDee Lamb. Why does that matter? Because the Eagles will now focus on the run game and take Dowdle out. They're the 2nd best against running backs, 2nd best in terms of yards and touchdowns. Don't start them. Detroit allows the most targets to the wide receiver position. They play a lot of man coverage, and Jennings is the best route runner and chain mover on the Niners. Start him. Somebody's got to catch the ball from Baker Mayfield this week. No Cade Otton, no Sterling Shepard. It can't just be Mike Evans, especially considering J.C. Horn will be shadowing him. McMillan could have a huge game here. 3 letters. DTR. That's it. Crowded receiver room and rain. Yeah, I want no part of Amari this week. Our sneaky start last week, he's just a start now. 21 targets in his last 2 games. Start him. The Packers are 2nd best versus wide receivers, but bottom 10 versus tight ends. Hawkinson's a start. The Vikings are the worst versus wide receivers, but actually pretty good versus tight ends. Sit him. Sit the old man Ertz this week.